Testing, testing, testing. Can everybody hear Mr. Beagle? Speak to me. One, if you can hear me. Two, if you think I am talking in sign language. Hello, hippie. How you doing? Secret Electric Jesus. How you doing? Hello, lurkers. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Okay. Alrighty. So let's see. We's the Big Files Live. This is episode 8. So here's the deal. Um, gonna do a little bit different something tonight. I've been putting a little something together. Just something I wanted to take a secondary look into. Hello, Henry. How you doing? You notice I'm looking down at my chat. Okay, I actually was being given crap because I said I couldn't see the chat. See, I can't see the chat. Now I can see the chat. I was actually being challenged because I said I couldn't see the chat, which I couldn't see the chat unless I looked down. People are, I mean, the ignorance level of some people in this community is astronomical. Okay, so here's the deal. The other day, Streets Tartaria sent me a link to an auction, and I was at work, and I looked at this thing, and I thought, damn, that's incredible. I couldn't believe it. And I said, "Are you gonna buy it?" He goes, "Hell no!" And I'm like, "Why not?" He was like, "You look at the price, Like I'm like, and okay, so I'm gonna show you what he sent me, and we're gonna try to. Okay, look, y'all. Let me share this with you. This is gonna be fun. Okay, so wait a minute. I got to get on the right. Where am I at? Okie dokie, bear with a beaks. This should do it. Okie dokie. We are on eBay. Now, on eBay, he sent me this right here. 35-foot antique bronze brass balcony fence railing Vanderbilt Mansion, New York City. $19,500. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I think this is an absolute steal at 19.5. So what I'm looking for is somebody that's willing to that thinks they're a baller and is willing to prove it. Streets has failed to prove that he is a baller, so we're going to need an actual baller. I asked my boss because he claims to be a baller and he is not a baller either. So I need a true baller. I need somebody to put their money where their mouth is. So here's the deal. We need this $19,500 piece of historical railing to be purchased by somebody in our community to save this railing from who knows who could buy this. We want to keep this in our fam, okay? This is an absolute historic treasure that you're seeing here. Now, we'll look at some more pictures. The railing was ripped out of a Vanderbilt mansion. Now, on first, glance, that's, okay, yeah, sure, ripped out of a Vanderbilt mansion. But here's the thing. When I started researching into this, come to find out there's actual documentation on these railings. Like, they're actually historically documented being on this mansion in New York City. It's a Vanderbilt mansion. It's called my brain is farting. It's called the Triple Palace. And the railings you can see right there on down at the bottom, and then they're also halfway up the building. Now, this railing is bronze. It's incredibly decorative, absolutely exquisite work, beautiful. Now you gotta, I'm sure, pay for shipping, so we're gonna need a baller that can afford 19.5 plus shipping, but that's okay. That's okay. And I don't have anywhere to put this thing, so it's not that I want it. I wouldn't have anywhere to put it. I just want to see somebody in our community to get off the wallet and save this piece of historical uh, architecture. Um, the it's in pieces because it when it was they demolished the house, which we'll look into a little bit. And I think that this, I've always said this, that I think that this is some form of tech, that this has to do with, I think, the free energy systems. This is an opinion. This is like, you know, a tailhole. Everybody has a tailhole, and this is mine. Okay, I'm giving an opinion. If you don't agree with it, that is okay. What is your opinion? My opinion is that this is quite possibly technology that we don't understand because we're too dumb. Now, um, this railing is just incredible. You know, I'm thinking that they use this kind of like a Wi-Fi antenna where it would possibly radiate in a way, send out the frequencies of the free energy so you could have energy outside the structure. Is kind of my thinking. Um, Now, one thing that led me to believe this is that it's so the designs, the symbology, the construction. It's on the same buildings that we study for Mudflood and Old World. It's it also back during the First and Second World War. A lot of you may know that they took a lot of this metal to the scrapyard, um, and it got disappeared. You know, and that like that those things right there remind me of like Egyptian hieroglyphs and stuff. But they a lot of these railings were taken out, and they said they needed the metals for the war effort. Um, I don't think that's what happened. I think they were. I think that's the end of the pictures. I think that is um the way they were trying to get rid of these things, because if you look in the old images, the old photography and the old films, these railings are everywhere. And it's just incredible to me that they would take these railings and just rip them out, and nobody saved them. I mean, this is literally the first one that I've seen that was ripped out that was saved. And when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. And I begged and begged and begged and begged and begged Streets to buy it. And he's, what is it? I think he said, was it seven? I forget how many. It's like what, seven? I'm trying to remember what he said. $700 per square per foot. And I'm like, that's a deal. And like, I mean, I was like, God, man, that thing is incredible. So, anyways, let's see what else I can find. This let me share. Oh, I gotta hold on. I gotta turn it. I gotta bring it up. Let me see. Bear with me. Gotta figure out how to do this. Okay, so I'm gonna share. Okie dokie, it's not there. Why is it not there? Hold on. Share. Oh. Okay. D. All right. So this here is the Triple Palace. It was at 640 and 642 Fifth Avenue and 2 West 52nd Street, New York, New York. This is a Vanderbilt mansion. Got cobblestone brick road that's not melted. Unfortunately, we're still looking for that, y'all. Still, that search will be ongoing for time eternal. But look at these doodads right here. I mean, I think it's a lamp, but I'm not sure. I think I saw some pictures maybe that had a lamp. But anyways, this is the railing. Now they had the this railing and this railing are different. Actually, I think if I remember correctly, this is the railing that is in the auction. They're different designs in the railing. Hey, Maggot. Hello, Rich Spillman. Hello, Sherry Ives. Hello, your name's just cutting off. It looks like Autumn, Maryland, Eagle Shield. That's a cool name. Okay. Now let's see. Let's look up here. That's a flat Earth asterisk right there. And as you've known from my old Muddin shows, I believe that's the symbol for flat Earth. Still much believe that. Here's another image of this. It's a lamp. See that right there? It's a lamp. So the railings are right here, and it's got Mudflood windows down here. It's got a drop in, and so you got portholes here. These are part of the wind catcher system. Old style windows. You look at these windows and you say, "Wow, that's interesting." It's an arched window. They're not arched. The glass is actually square. It has a square frame inside of that. So it's an arch on the outside, but square. Maybe it might be arched inside as well, but the actual window goes up into, the wall there, and that's how that's. Trying to see if there's anything else interesting. Here's a picture of it. There's a really I don't remember if it's a cathedral or a church, but it's an amazing church across the street from it. That's still there today. Like I said, this mansion was demolished. And see, you can see down here. This is definitely an old picture. I mean, I don't even see any cars. So this is very early. Oh, this is a good one. Those damn Microsoft updated. Okay, let me rant for a second about Microsoft. Okay, so Microsoft decided to update Photos a couple weeks ago. Out of nowhere, they just did it. And when they did it, they removed the video editing software that I was using, that I've made videos with for ever since I started YouTube. I've even made videos on how to use the program, and they just deleted the software from existence. All the projects I was working on, deleted. Just everything gone. I just lost. I don't even know what I lost. I was working on things. I'd been working on things, and it just gone. And they replaced it with what's it called? Clip Champ, Microsoft Clip Champ. Now, granted, it's a better program in a lot of ways, but it is in other ways, it has limitations. So I wish they had just left up the other one and let you use this one too. So I've been having to relearn my video editing software, and it's been interesting. I've learned a lot. I've enjoyed it, but it's also been frustrating because it doesn't do a lot of things that my other program did, that like tricks of editing, and I'm having to learn new ways of doing things that I've done 1,000 times now, and it's really frustrating. There's that flat Earth asterisk. So I don't know. Just that's kind of just a little something. But anyways, if you saw those images pop up at the bottom, that's part of that new update that those son of bitches did, and now it shows up with pictures on the bottom of like the, I don't know. They just do shit. Now this, I don't know what this mansion is here, but this one just is amazing. Look at the finial up here and the ether fencing. See, I think the ether fencing and the railings here are one and the same. They're just one's high and one's low. But I kind of think that these ones, I don't think they collected the etheric energy like these ones do. But I think these ones were more like a Wi-Fi kind of thing, like outside the bit, like the structure to like create a, almost like the well-to-dos could have you know, more energy around the property or something. I don't know. It's just something interesting to me. You know, that's something that the opposition is starting to saying is that we think that uh, uh, the old world people were benevolent, and you know, that's not my personal view. I don't think that they were completely perfect or anything. I think they were human, and I think they had flaws just like we do. I think they were more spiritually advanced. I think they were more in tune with nature, and their technology was more in tune with nature. But I think they were also, you know, there was good people, there was bad people, there was, you know, highly advanced spiritual, you know, knowledgeable people, and there was also dumbasses like we have today. You know, I think there was humanity. I think, you know, humans are humans. You know, we're good, we're bad, we're both, we're everything. I don't think they were a wonderful society. I think that's how it all got turned to shit. I think that because there was an element in society that were bad. But you know, that's just, you know, check out that old bike. So da 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 dee 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 dee. Got a little pyramid up here. I I'm not positive, but I think this church is still there. I don't know if this one is though. I'm not sure. We might go look at that area. Um anyways, that I'd love to know what this is. I might have looked at this before, don't remember, but this is beautiful, that structure. What else we got? Mr. William H. Vanderbilt's drawing room, 1883. So this is inside. Kind of give you a peek inside of what the art would be and the decor. Personally, decor wise, I find it to be very gaudy. I don't like this sort of decor personally, but a lot of people find it, you know, nice. I mean, I'm not saying it's not. That's kind of a weird picture. Is that guy got a blindfold on? I don't know. That's kind of weird, right? But that's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't particularly care for that decor. This is a pedestal from the drawing room of the William H. Vanderbilt house. That is just incredible. The detail on that. I mean, that is beautiful. Look at that. I don't know. I like that. That's cool. But okay. I got these are the pictures I was showing. Well, wait. Y'all want? Yeah, I'm driving. Well, we look a little closer. Now these pictures are not very good, so um, you know, they're not very good quality. The seller they only want 19.5 plus shipping, so you know, and tax, I'm sure. But let's try to find us a buyer. So any of y'all that are ready to get off your wallets, let's go. And go ahead and bid. Buy, you got to buy it now on it. Hell, me and Street spent I don't even know how many hours, literally 3 or 4 hours that night after work, because I called him up and I'm like, I was like begging, you got to find, we got to get this somehow. We got to get this thing is amazing. I'm flipping out. He's laughing at me, thinking it's hilarious, but I'm dead serious. But we spent all night, like 3 or 4 hours. I can't even remember, but we spent a lot of hours just on this seller's site, looking at the other stuff in their inventory. It was just incredible. And then we got into other sellers, and it was just looking at the old Victorian architecture stuff that's being sold from antique dealers and scrap places. It's just it's amazing. I mean, if I had the fundage and I had somewhere to put this kind of stuff, I mean, I'll, you know, any asshole can buy a Lamborghini and say, yeah, look at my Lamborghini, right? But who the hell can put this in their front yard and have their buddies over and say, yeah, I got a Vanderbilt, railing off the Vanderbilt mansion. Yeah, from New York City. It was ripped out and I got it. Yeah. Paid $19.5 for it. Yeah. Just, drop in the bucket. I'm a baller, break out the lobster. Champagne's on me. I mean, this is some baller shit right here. If you put this in your front yard, you would be certified baller, because any dickhead can buy a Ferrari. I mean, come on. To have a piece of historical architecture from a Vanderbilt, a freaking a certified robber baron's house, I mean, yeah, come on. That's what I'm talking about, man. This is the real freaking deal. Look at that stuff. I mean, the artistic value alone is worth 19 at least. I mean, hell, 5 for the rate. I mean, come on. It's just, here's some architectural drawings of it. Little scrub cartouche there, but these are how they looked up on the structure. Here's a up close. I believe that these are ones on the bottom, but they were the sister railings of that bronze railing surrounding the house. So these are, this is documenting these railings. And here's an actual drawing of those railings, railing of upper balcony from design by C.H. David. But that's what they, originally looked like. Here's the house again, and you can see the upper, well, you can't see the upper railings. You can see the lower railings here, and you can see the little Mudflood windows. That is just, it's an interesting. It was very hard to find, decent images of the place. What do we got here? Vanderbilt Triple Palace. Hello, question answer. What's going on? Maggot's back for more. Let's see. Oh goodness. Okay. Triple Palace, also known as matter of fact, I wonder. Yeah, let's do it. Hold on a second. Hold on just a second. Let me let's do it on Google, so that we have if there's any interesting links, we can check them out. Let me see if I can get, okay, Vanderbilt. Okay, now I can show it online. Bear with the beags. That should do it. Y'all should be able to see that soon. Yes, those railings should be in a museum. I absolutely. They are. Their history. They're, beautiful. They're artistic. They're one of a kind. They're from a famous person's home, from a famous family. They're you'll see they were manufactured supposedly at a famous foundry. Um, just on and on. I mean, they really are amazing. Let's see. The Triple House, also known as the William H. Vanderbilt House, was an elaborate mansion at 640 Fifth Avenue between 51st and 52nd Street in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. The urban mansion, completed in 1882 to designs by John B. Snook and Charles B. Atwood, was owned by members of the Vanderbilt family. It was composed of two portions, a single-family unit to the south and a two-family unit to the north. William Henry Vanderbilt owned and lived in the southern portion. Two of his daughters, Emily Thornton Vanderbilt and Margaret Louisa Vanderbilt Shepherd, along with their respective families, occupied the two residences in the northern portion. The mansion had a brownstone facade as well as a courtyard and a portico separating the two sections. William Henry Vanderbilt's portion of the house had elaborate decor with 58 rooms, jeez, designed in a different style, as well as a central three-story art gallery with a large skylight. William Henry's section also included an elaborate dining room, library, parlor, a drawing room and first floor, as well as bedrooms on the second floor for himself, his wife, and the youngest children. Emily's and Margaret's sections of the house were designed in a less lavish style. William Henry Vanderbilt had commissioned the mansion in part to provide space for his paintings, as well as now that sounds like horseshit narrative if I've ever heard it, as well as a residence for his two daughters. Upon its completion, the mansion was generally criticized. After William Henry's death in 1885, the house, now that's another thing that we see a lot. We see that these people will build these elaborately huge mansions, and they'll either die during the construction or before it's completed or right after. Which that's you see that narrative a lot. The house passed on to numerous members of his family. It became known as the home of Henry Clay Frick. Wow. Hello. Anybody know Henry Clay Frick? If you don't know who Henry Clay Frick is, you might want to look into this dude. This dude has some serious history. That's a bad dude right there. Okay. That dude is the dude that is responsible for, I'd say, two key things. One, he's responsible for sending the Pinkertons, I believe it was the Pinkertons, after the workers at the steel mill, the Carnegie Steel Mill, or Vanderbilt Steel Mill, or was it? Wait a minute. Let me read it. Where Carnegie Steel. He's the one that sent the Pinkertons and into put down they were trying to get better. I think it was a Union standoff, and they shot him up, killed him. And also he is responsible for the Johnstown flood. Look up Johnstown flood. Now that is the largest catastrophe in American history prior to 9/11. Johnstown flood right there. So that's a sidebar note. So this dude, they're saying, lived in this house. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so looking at Henry Clay Frick, who renovated and rented the house from 1905 to 1913 when he built the Henry Clay Frick House. That's his house, inspired by the Triple Palace and its art collection. Cornelius Vanderbilt III hired Horace Trumbauer, who the fuck is that? American architect. Okay. To design another renovation for the house in 1916. The northern section of the Vanderbilt house was demolished in 1927. So the northern section was demolished in 27, while the southern section was destroyed in 47. Wow. Both sections were replaced by high-rise buildings. That's just awesome. Just awesome. I see Ha-Ha's up to no good again. And MJL, what's going on? How you doing? Okie dokie. Design. The William H. Vanderbilt house occupied an entire east side of the block, bounded by 51st Street to the south and 52nd Street to the north, 5th Avenue to the east, 6th Avenue to the west. The house was described in popular press as two mansions and known as the Triple Palace or the Vanderbilt Twins. However, the structure was a single mansion built at one time with 3 residential units across 2 sections. William Henry Vanderbilt hired John B. Schnook and Charles B. Atwood to design and furnish the mansion and hired the Herder brothers to decorate the space. Schnook was an architect of record for the mansion, but there is evidence of both Atwood's and Herder's brothers' involvement. The Herder brothers disputed the claim that either Schnook or Atwood were responsible for the overall design. When the Herder brothers wrote American Architect and Building News to complain, the journal's editor pointed out that Atwood and Schnook's names were listed on the building permit for the house. Layout and courtyard. I think that's interesting. Like they're arguing about who did what. Like how is that for such a large project? How does that not like a known like set in stone thing? Oh, maybe because they found it and they were disputing who was actually to be able to claim it. The mansion occupied the site for 200 by 150 feet. The southern section at 640 Fifth Avenue was a single-family unit occupied by William Henry Vanderbilt. That's that dude. Wow, nice sideburns. His wife, Maria Luisa Kissaman. That's a weird name. And their youngest son, George. Let's see, George. Okay, George is important. The southern section measured 115 feet deep and either 80 feet or 74 feet wide. Okay, so we're discrepancy of 6 feet for some strange reason. The northern section contained a pair of units occupied by the families of 2 Vanderbilt daughters. The unit at 642 Fifth Avenue was occupied by Emily Thornton Vanderbilt and her husband, William Douglas Sloan, while that at least 2 West 52nd Street was occupied by Margaret Louise Vanderbilt. Nice dress. Very nice. And her husband, Elliot Fitzshepard. So he's a lawyer. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, the northern section was slightly narrower than the southern one. Both sections were connected at the first story, but the other upper stories were disconnected from each other. The doors separating the 3 residences could be opened to create a large event space. That's interesting to me. That right there. A short balustrade right there. And a planting strip separated the mansion from Fifth Avenue sidewalk. So that's where they're talking about the railings. Though it was removed in 1911. Okay, so it sounds like they're saying the bottom railings were removed in 1911. That doesn't say anything about the top railings, which we're looking at. Bronze lighting fixtures were mounted atop the pillars of the balustrade. The metal fencing was installed between the pillars. Metal fencing, huh? When the mansion was completed, it was surrounded on all sides by grass. Okay. Between 2 sections on Fifth Avenue was a courtyard leading to the entrance of portico. A pavement stone in front of the portico measured 44,000 pounds. A pavement stone in front of the portico measured 44,000 pounds. That's crazy. With dimensions 25 foot by 15 foot. That's crazy. The stones, okay. Ooh. The stone, supposedly the largest ever quarried in the United States, was transported to the construction site by barge since it could not fit on a train. Wow. The stone, supposedly the largest ever quarried in the United States, was transported to the construction site by barge since it could not fit on a train. So then I'm assuming Fred, the horse that built America, took over and moved it from there. Oh, what am I missing here? Nearby, numerous similarly large stones measuring average 12 feet to 13 feet wide and 15 feet long. A New York Times reporter said the stones had been laid on 3 parallel walls of solid rock. Right in front of the portico was a large bluestone entrance step measuring 24 by 3.5 feet across. The portico served as the southern section's entrance, while the northern section was accessed from 52nd Street. Facade: the house was designed by Doric and Corinthian styles, with facade made of Connecticut brownstone. Snook and Atwood was originally planned to face the building in light Ohio limestone with red and black limestone trim. However, when William Henry Vanderbilt had changed the plans at the last minute because he wanted a distinctive, cheap, and familiar material, the foundation walls were made of stone laid in sand and cement resting on natural rock. Upper walls ranged in thickness from 36 to 8 inches. The firm of H&A Dickinson's quarried the brownstone for the building. Horizontal string courses. What in the world? Okay. Divided the 3 main stories of the facade on all sides. Near the top of the ground floor windows was an elaborate enablature with damn glasses are messing with me. Carvings of vines which wrapped around all sides. The second story windows were decorated with acanthus leaves. The ground and second story windows were originally complemented with vases containing flowers. Above the third story was an entablature with a blind frieze, followed by a blind attic. Huh. A cornice decorated with lions' heads. There's your Tartarian lions, as well as perforated papyrus. Okay. Oh, it's not showing it. There you go. Ran above the attic on all sides. The top of the building had a flat roof line surrounded by a balustrade. The roof was about 75 feet above the sidewalk and was made of red tiles. Along Fifth Avenue elevation, central portion of either section was recessed from the outer windows. The ground level had square-headed window openings that about 2/3 of the way up were interspersed with enablature. The second story openings were flanked by pilasters and topped by carved lintels. The capitals atop the pilasters were ornately carved. The third story openings had round head arches that were flanked by carved panels and topped by narrow archivolts. Those are cool. Ornamental mounting band. That's cool. Midway the third story, carved frieze and horizontally across the facade. Features Vanderbilt Mansion's residence in the southern section had elaborate decor, including an extensive art collection. There were 58 rooms in the southern residence, each designed in a different style. The Nashville Daily American described the northern section's decoration as being ornate, but less utterly utter than those on the northern section. Okay. Shortly after the house was completed, a 10-volume series entitled Vanderbilt's House and Collection was privately published, which documented the William H. Vanderbilt house and art collection. And just FYI, I found that book. So we're going to look at that as well. 1,000 copies were printed of the series, which art historian Earl Shin authored under the pen name Edward Strahan. The industrialist Henry Clay Frick had a noted admiration for the mansion, its art collection, and William Henry Vanderbilt's status. The building and art collection prompted Frick to create his own mansion and art collection. Today, a public museum known as the Frick Collection also purchased 4 volumes of the Vanderbilt series, as well as 20 satin reproductions of paintings Vanderbilt's collection. Some of these were hung at Clayton. That's the house I get. Frick's house in Pittsburgh. Structural features. The superstructure of the triple house consisted of wrought iron beams supporting floor and roof. The floor beams were designed to be capable of supporting 150 to 175 pounds per square foot, while the roof beams were designed to support 125 pounds per square foot. Fireproof materials such as brick arches was infilled between wrought iron beams. The brick partition walls were designed to be at least 16 inches thick. Much of the ornamentation was made in paper mache, rather than plaster. That's weird. The entire house was steam heated. I think that's old world, except for the conservatory in the northern portion of the building, which was heated by hot water. The basement, so we have confirmed basement was blasted out of solid rock and measured 9.5 feet tall. The basement contained numerous rooms, including a kitchen, staff rooms, coal vaults for your coal hole covers, mechanical rooms, and the elevators of electricity. The basement also includes storage closets, wine cellars, laundry, and dining rooms, or drying rooms, furnace rooms, and pantries. The first floor had a ceiling 16 foot tall. Jeez. Ceiling heights decreased at subsequent stories, with the second story being 15 feet tall and the third story being 12 feet tall. Well, I mean, just a measly 12 feet. And the attic being 8 feet tall. Okay, so we're back to normal. Entrance vestibule. Let me see. I don't know if we're gonna. How much more we got here? We could probably keep going with this. Unless I'm annoying y'all, and I guess even then I don't give a damn. Annoy away, Biggs. Annoy away. The portico in Fifth Avenue led to an entrance vestibule between two sections from which the southern half of the house was accessed. It had an exterior of brownstone like the rest of the house, but the front elevation was not enclosed. The floor of the vestibule was paved in marble mosaic tiles. Mosaics also decorated the vestibule walls. The vestibule ceiling was a skylight made of stained glass and iron. Just below the second story house, the ceiling was infilled with mosaic, was made by Francisca of Venice. The center of the vestibule featured a malachite. That's pretty. Oh, vase measuring 9 feet tall. The vase was acquired from the collection of, who is this dude? Some Paveli, no, what in the world? Dimov, what in the world? Russian nobleman. All right. So some other globalist, and had been made by Pierre Philippe, some dude, who knows, sculptor. On the south wall was a pair of doors leading the hallway. Vanderbilt's residence, inspired by Lorenzo. Who are these people? Gates of Paradise. Okie dokie. In Florence, the doors cost $25,000, equivalent to $619,000 in 2021. Jesus, for doors. Damn. They were reported by contemporary media as being made of bronze. The art historian Wayne Craven wrote the doors were really just thin metal screwed to a common wooden frame. Damn. Ground floor. The bronze doors open into a hallway southern section with marble tiling and wood paneling. The south wall opposite the entrance door had a large fireplace and the mantelpiece made of marble, as well as bronze reliefs and female figures flanking marble shaft. To the right was a stairway to the upper floors, while to the left was a set of carved oaken seats. A door leading to the drawing room. Throughout the hallway were iron columns of red polished marble, which supported the architectural galleries on the upper stories. That's that pedestal I was showing you earlier. Hey, Andrea D, what's going on? What else is going on? Blah, blah, blah. Haha is saying that guy can bite me. I hope it's somebody I hope you will want to bite. Extending west from the southern section's hallway was the art gallery measuring 32 by 48 feet. The gallery was described as being 33 to 35 feet. Okay. At night, it was lit by 169 gas jets. Damn. The art gallery originally featured 207 oils and watercolors from various European artists. Art was hung salon style in the gallery. Despite the size of the gallery, Vanderbilt's collection soon grew to require an additional smaller gallery to show watercolors and drawings. The art gallery had its own entrance from 51st Street. Attached to the art gallery was an aquaria room, or 15 by 32 foot, separated from the gallery by archway, as well as conservatory room on the opposite wall. The south side of the hallway led to the southern section. Main dining room measured 28 by 36 feet and had wood wainscoting, fireplace, and carved mantel and tapestries and paintings. The southern dining room had an elliptical arch ceiling and was divided into panels with carved fruit and folate motifs. A butler's pantry abutted the dining room. An eastern portion of the southern section hallway to a drawing room, parlor, and library facing Fifth Avenue. The drawing room measured 25 feet by 31 feet and had a red velvet walls as mother of pearl butterflies. With mother of pearl butterflies. Okay. Red carpet and a ceiling mural painted by Pierre Victor Gallin. Okay, that looks fancy. And the mother of pearl appeared to make the decorations glow whenever the room was illuminated. North of the drawing room was a library which contained furniture inlaid with mother of pearl. The rosewood library table was decorated with designs and six continents, and the chairs and wallpaper contained hangings. Sorry, folks. I've got trifocal glasses now, so when I have it, it's not the easiest thing to read for me like this. It's quite difficult. So bear with me. South of drawing room was a Japanese themed parlor, hanging tapestries and lacquered cabinets, as well as the false bamboo ceiling and with rafters stained to resemble red lacquer. The double unit in the northern section was designed with mirrored parlors, libraries, and dining rooms. Reception rooms at the ground floor. The butler's pantry was located in dining rooms, while the billiard room was on the rear of the double residence. Upper stories. The southern section's grand staircase had an ornate oak balustrade, as well as an overhead frieze. The stairway wrapped around a light well, okay, that measured perhaps 60 by 40 feet. The stairway was lit by the skylight above the light well, which was decorated in crimson, and gold brick. The bottom of the grand staircase had a bronze newel and was sculpted in the figure of a girl. The intermediate landings, John Lafarge, American artist, okay, who designed 9 stained glass windows. Those on the first landing depict fruits of commerce that had made Vanderbilt's wealthy. While the second story depicted hospitality and prosperity. The rooms on the southern section's second floor were designed with varying fittings and decorations. Each member of the family had their own room, with Maria's being the most ornate. Miss Vanderbilt's room faced the corner of Fifth Avenue, 51st Street, and contained wooden cabinetry from the France and wainscoting wall topped by satins and tapestries, and a ceiling mural by Jules. What in the world kind of name is that? French painter. Okay. Henry Vanderbilt's room over the dining room had polished brass and mahogany finishes. Cornelius's room was decorated in dark mahogany and consisted of a study and attached bedroom. Another room was decorated in rosewood inlaid mother of pearl. It was meant for another of W.H. Vanderbilt's daughters, Eliza, hello, who had gotten married before the house was finished. The southern section's third floor had guest rooms that surrounded the light well. Each room was finished with cabinet wood and had frescoes in different styles and carved dressers supporting large mirrors. Each dressing room was third floor was connected to two bedrooms. A steep stairway, similar to a ladder, led to the third floor on the roof. The northern section of upper floors generally had sitting, sewing, and dressing rooms, as well as chambers and nurseries. The double residence had a conservatory measuring 15 by 40 feet. That's southern corner history. The portion of Fifth Avenue Midtown became upscale residential area following the American Civil War. Among the residents that moved to the area is William Henry Vanderbilt, who in 1877 inherited 90 million, equivalent to 2.161 billion upon the death of his father, railroad magnate Cornelius Vanderbilt. Now, there is your robber baron. Very, very important person to study is Cornelius Vanderbilt. If you have not studied Mr. Cornelius Vanderbilt, he is one of the leading, literally a robber baron. So William Henry Vanderbilt. Hey, Streets, how you doing? We're basically trying to talk somebody with deep pockets into buying Vanderbilt's railings tonight. I have tried all my avenues of people that could possibly do such a thing, and they have told me I am insane. So I'm going to find somebody that is more insane than I am to buy these railings. It's only $19.5 plus shipping. Here, right here. This is the auction right here. $19.5 plus shipping. Vanderbilt officially certified railings. So let's see. Get back to where we were. Okay. Vanderbilt's extensive art collection required space, leading his wife to insist they had they add a wing to their existing house at 459 Fifth Avenue for their paintings. 19th century construction. In January 1879, Vanderbilt bought a land lot on the west side of Fifth Avenue between 51st and 52nd Streets. The lot, which stood diagonally across Fifth Avenue and 51st Street from the then new St. Patrick's Cathedral. Okay, let me while we're at it, let's see. Why don't we go and look at St. Patrick's Cathedral? While we're at it, it's set. Let's see. Let me see. Diagonally across Fifth Avenue. So I just want to show you the Fifth Avenue. Okay, so it would be basically there's St. Patrick's. So it would be this mansion would have been in this area right here. This is one of the Rockefeller centers, but you know, this is across the street. You've got this amazing place here. Just to kind of give you an idea of where this took place, you know, the kind of scenery that was here. There's some other interesting buildings around, I think. Let's go up this way, see if there's anything. Oh, there's something. That's pretty. So that's interesting. You know, I'd have to look into this building more, but this kind of strangely to me looks modern. I could be wrong about that, but that doesn't look, that looks newer. This though, this looks like it could be old world right here to me. I don't know this I know it's pretty, but honestly it looks new to me. Or it's very pressure washed. I don't know. Anyways, I think that's about just that. Had once been owned by sheep farmer. So they're saying this land used to be owned by like a sheep dude that raised sheep. Okay, well, yeah. I'll even have his name, Isaiah Kessler. The site had cost 500,000, equivalent to 12 million. Good grief! It had originally been marketed at 800,000 prior to the Panic of 1873. His elder son Cornelius and William Kissman were simultaneously okay. Wait, who's Cornelius? Okay, were simultaneously planning the Cornelius Vanderbilt second house 5 blocks north and the William K. Vanderbilt house 1 block north. Oh, you know what? I that might. I think that building, that structure, that mansion we were looking at earlier, and I was saying was so pretty. I think that's that. I think that's that mansion. That looks like it, and I think I do remember somewhere reading that there were Vanderbilt mansions right there together. So now this is the Cornelius Vanderbilt house. Now this is a whole different one, but I'm not sure, but it might have been. I wonder if it was close. Anyways, let's see. By April 1879, existing tenants were being forced to leave. That December, William Vanderbilt uh, filed plans for a mansion between 51st and 52nd Streets in a single unit and a double unit. Over the following 1.5 years, more than 600 workers constructed the building. 600 workers constructed the 600 freaking workers. So that means there's 600 witnesses that built this house that could have been interviewed, or 600 families of the workers that worked on this house supposedly could still probably be interviewed. So we're looking for uh, anybody that is a relative of the workers. Okay. In addition, 60 European sculptors were hired to sculpt decorations on the facade and interior. So that's 660 workers. Total number of workers was estimated between 600 and 700. So somewhere between 600 and 700 witnesses, of which 250 were hired just for decorating the interior. William Henry. Okay, wait a minute now. Now we got to take that number down. They're saying 250 were hired just to do the interior. Now, if the building was there, okay, we can take those 250 and let them slide. Okay, because basically they're decorating a house that was founded. So then we're worried about the other, you know, 350 to 400. William Henry was deeply involved in mansion's construction. I'm sure he was. Visiting worksite daily, observing the ongoing work at the Heather Brothers workrooms for hours at a time. This led William Bottomgarden of the Heather Brothers to say in 1885, "We have rarely had a customer who took such a personal interest in the work during its progress." By the middle of 1881, Fifth Avenue facade of the Triple Palace was being constructed, and the 19th large blocks of brownstone had been set in place. The work ultimately cost $2 million, equivalent to, good lordy, I don't know. That's just that. That's redonkulous. About 2/3 of which was spent on the interior William Henry's residence. About 2/3 of which was spent on the interior. So they're saying 2/3 of the money that was spent on this house was spent on the interior. Okay, so then you take out of that, you take out the, where was it? The $500,000 that was spent on the land, and then that's what the house costs to build, whatever that number is. And then, you know, I don't know. It's just interesting. I don't know. Sounds like a bunch of horseshit to me. 18 days, 18 nights. William Henry, Maria, and George Vanderbilt were occupying the southern half of the mansion by January 1882. Let's see. His daughters moved in their own respective residence at the time. Washington Post wrote at the time, "What would is said in any European country have taken from 5 to 10 years to accomplish has been done here in a little more than 2 years." That's interesting. The Washington Post wrote, "What," basically saying it took 2 years to build what it would take 10 years, 5 to 10 years in Europe to build. That's interesting. They held a large reception at the portion of the mansion in March 1882. Subsequent New York Herald Tribune article once said that 2 decades following the mansion's opening comprised one of the two great periods of the house's existence. The art collection grew quickly, and in March 1883, Snook filed plans for additions to Vanderbilt's gallery and the northern section conservatory. Vanderbilt hosted a ball with 1,000 guests on December 11th, 1883. He marks the opening of his new gallery 9 days later with a reception to which 3,000 people were invited. Jeez. Vanderbilt intended his house and art collection to be more imposing than those of the late Alexander Turney. Okay, Stewart. When the house was completed, the public could visit the art gallery in the southern portion of Thursdays between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m., though only by invitation. After some instances of visitor misbehavior, Vanderbilt stopped inviting people to see his art collection. Less than 5 years after moving into the mansion on December 1885, W.H. Vanderbilt suddenly died. As part of his will, Maria received a life interest. Okay, in the property, his youngest son George, who had not yet have a grand mansion of his own, had a future interest, which meant he would obtain the Triple Palace upon Maria's death. His daughters were bequeathed the houses in which they resided. W.H. Vanderbilt's will stipulated that the mansion and collections pass to his sons, or another grandson to stay in the family. Only Maria and George Vanderbilt continued to live in the southern portion of the house afterwards. Though they privately invited people to see the art collection, the residents still hosted such events as a dinner for the Architectural League of New York. In 1889, Margaret and the Elliott Shepherd continued to live in the southern portion of the section of the mansion with their youngest children. Elliott died there during 1893. Sometime afterward, Margaret sold her family's portion of the northern section to Emily. In 1896, Maria Vanderbilt died, and George received title to the southern section of the house. George already had a townhouse by then, and he did not wish to live in the mansion, which had unfashionable decor by this point. Oh, so it's no good because it's unfashionable now. Wow. Whew. Furthermore, by the turn of the century, the surrounding section of Fifth Avenue becoming a commercial area. George was in the midst of creating Biltmore Mansion. Okay, we all know what that is. North Carolina, but he was unable to sell his father's house under the terms of his father's will. In part to slow the further commercial development of the avenue, George Vanderbilt developed the Marble Twins. Oh, wait a minute now. Okay, 647 Fifth Avenue, originally known as George W. Vanderbilt's residence, is a commercial building in the Midtown Manhattan neighborhood of New York City. It is long east side of Fifth Avenue. Wait a minute. Is that that's those buildings we were just looking at, ain't it? It is. Okay, I stand corrected. How about that? That's cool. Immediately across Fifth Avenue, the turn of the century. So when did they say that was built? Do they say? They ain't gonna say, are they? Okay, you have to look into it. Fifth Avenue turned 20th century. One of the Marble Twins was occupied by his sister and her family, who had moved to the northern section of Triple Palace. 20th century, 1902, George lent 135 works of the miniature 640-piece collection to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The same year, George announced plans to renovate the southern section of the mansion. The plans entailed adding another story, removing some facade ornamentation, and replacing an exterior iron fence with stone, installing a new Fifth Avenue doorway to replace existing entrances, and adding a what in the world? That's pretty. Porticulture. Okay. In the rear, the southern northern halves of the mansion would be completely disconnected from each other as the entrance from the central portico would be destroyed. The firm of Hunt and Hunt was hired for the renovation. While city officials initially approved the porticulture, they subsequently ordered it demolished, saying it projected too far on the Fifth Avenue sidewalk. George Vanderbilt secured an injunction in June 1903 to prevent its demolition, but he was failed to take it down that September. Frick leases in 1905. Douglas Robinson of Robinson Douglas Robinson of Robinson Brown and Company notified Henry Clay Frick that the southern half of the mansion was available for rent. By this point, Frick was becoming a prominent businessman and was the largest private stockholder in the railroad industry. Frick's early obsession with the house, as well as the idea of living in the residence of the former collector of railroad king William H. Vanderbilt, were strong reasons for Frick's move to rent the space. In March 1905, media reported that Frick had leased the southern residence. Frick acquired a 10-year lease in the southern residence and its furnishings, with George Vanderbilt receiving $50,000 in rent per year, equivalent to $1 million. Okay, good grief, that's a lot of rent. Frick and his wife renovated the southern half portion of the mansion at a cost of $100,000, equivalent to $2,391,000 in 2000. With plans and construction oversight, Hunt work added newer amenities, including electric lighting and modern bathrooms. Frick also installed high brownstone on the wall, Fifth Avenue, for privacy. He built a driveway leading from the avenue. The family moved to the building in October 1905. Following the completion of the work, Frick attempted to purchase the house within a few years, but W.H. Vanderbilt's will still did not allow for the sale of the building, so the point was not pursued further. Frick acquired land for his new house and museum on the Upper East Side. In 1906, and construction of that house began in 1913. Immediately east of the Triple Palace, Fifth Avenue was widened in 1911, and Frick's driveway was cut back. In addition to flowering plants and stone railing in front Triple Palace, northern section were removed. Around that time, the neighborhood was growing increasingly commercial. When George Vanderbilt unexpectedly died in 1914, house passed to Cornelius Vanderbilt III. That's this dude. The next grandson of W.H. Vanderbilt. As George had no male heirs, Cornelius III took possession of the house that April. He requested Frick vacate the property, giving him several months to move. Frick's moved to the Henry Clay Frick House in 1914, where they remained until their deaths. Later years after Frick moved out, Cornelius III spent $500,000, equivalent to $9,783,000, to renovate the southern portion of the mansion, including $240,000 on physical alterations. Horace Tumblar designed the renovation, for which filed plans in 1915. The work involved creating new entrances to the north side and southern residences. Cornelius III's ownership marked the second great period of the house's history, as the New York Herald Tribune would later describe it. In subsequent years, the mansion's visitors included numerous heads of state, such as U.S. Theodore Roosevelt, Herbert Hoover, and British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, as well as various leaders of royal families. Nevertheless, by 1920, the section of Fifth Avenue Midtown was quickly becoming a commercial area, taxes rising accordingly, making the continued presence of residents in the area unaffordable. Emily Vanderbilt Sloan, now married Henry White, sold the northern residence to Benjamin Winter, about $35 million, equivalent to $43 million in 2021, January 1926. Winter began destroying the northern part of the house in 1927 to make way for the 30-story office building. Cornelius III sold the southern part of the house to William Waldorf Astor. The estate in May 1940, the sale occurred despite William Henry's wishes for it to stay in the Vanderbilt family. The Astors wished to redevelop the site, which by then was surrounded by commercial developments, such as Rockefeller Center to the south. After the sale, the Vanderbilts hosted their final large events at the house. The interior of the house was opened to the public in July 1941 with a $1 admission fee to raise money for the United Service Organization. The benefit of American Red Cross took place house in 1942, over 1,000 guests. With Cornelius' death, March 1942, its days of magnificence were ended, according to the Herald Tribune. In 1944, the Astors filed plans for commercial property to replace the southern section of the house. The following year, Cornelius III, widow Grace, sold the Vanderbilt's art collection. Work sold for $323,000, equivalent to $3,900,000. Blah blah blah. Lost the cost acquiring the collection after adjustments for inflation. Among the buyers of the furnishings were Paramount Pictures, which bought rare woods for its use, as well as the Metropolitan Museum of Art, which received the malachite urn from entrance vestibule. Demolition of the southern section began in September 1947, and the house began totally raised had been totally raised by March 1949, when the cornerstone of the new building on the site was laid. News at the time expressed dismay in the loss of the building, though the media said it had long been outdated remnant of a past time. Yeah, it sure is. It was replaced by 640 and 650 Fifth Avenue. That's that thing. The William H. Vanderbilt Mansion was the last of 7 major Vanderbilt residents in Midtown section of Fifth Avenue when it was demolished. Critical reception. The house architecture was received negatively, especially in comparison to the homes of W.H. Vanderbilt's children. The interior was seen as vast and dark and unfashionable decor. In 1881, Montgomery Schuler wrote the Triple Palace. If these Vanderbilt houses are the result of entrusting architectural design to decorators, it is to be hoped the experiment may not be repeated. Schiller particularly criticized the character of the brownstone facade, wondering how so much good work can be so ineffective. The following year, Clarence Cook dubbed the mansion on a gigantic knee-hole table, calling the design discreditable to the profession of architecture in the United States. Uh, meanwhile, like the magistrate brownstone packing boxes. God, this is brutal. 2 decades after the house's completion, Herbert Growley wrote that the exterior was far from interesting, while the brownstone indicates a blind ignorance of the drift of American architectural advance. Where critics were uninterested in the design of the exterior, they felt the interior was overwhelming. One critic wrote, "One longs to find out there is not one single room where there might be found some repose." Barbara Weinberg, late 20th century retrospective on Lafargue's work in the home design, had a taste of it dependent for expression of extreme wealth, with the decoration being derived from foreign inspirations than from domestic inspirations. There was some praise for the Triple Palace. In 1881, the Nashville Daily American described the house as a gem to those in love with the symmetrical outlines of the improved Greek school, even as the newspaper acknowledged the house's somber character. The Provincial Journal article from 1888 described the house as beyond any question the most superb house in New York. So that is that, that's that. God, that's a lot of information to read. I know that was kind of brutal, but we're trying to sell, and we're trying to get a buyer for this 1905 railing. Um, I'm sure Streets came in here earlier to laugh at me. He thinks this is hilarious. I'm dead serious. I need a buyer. I need somebody with some cojones and deep pockets. So, anybody out there that's got 19.5 plus shipping and tax, that they're, you can get it. You can preserve history, and that'll be a good thing. Let me see. Okay. So now, let me present this. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is the book I found. Is called Vanderbilt's House and Collection, described by Edward Strahan. And this, I'm just going to blast through this. I'll put this as always in the Beagle file for this video, and you can go and look at this yourself. And I thought this was an interesting picture. Steam menaced by electricity. So this is electricity, representing electricity, and this reminds me of a monstrance, and this is steam, here. I just thought this was kind of interesting. Anyways, um, this is Salve. I think this is a oh God, I forget what they call this. Anyways, I thought that was really cool right there. Now a lot of the stuff you'll see here is I was gonna read this stuff, but it's kind of dry, kind of I don't know, artsy fartsy reading. Um, I'm just gonna blast through this and give you an idea of what's in this book, and you can go and do your own looking. Um, these are images from the inside. I'm gonna turn them if they're really interesting. But you can go and look at this for yourself and take a look at what you think. We looked at that image earlier. That's of the house, corner of Fifth Avenue, and okay. There is the railings that we're trying to find a buyer for right there, in situ, as they say. Check out these lamps, and oh, talk about elegant! Wow, she's just totally pimped out. Anyways, I was gonna read this stuff to you, but I'm kind of fading here. I haven't eaten dinner today, so I need to get to eating some. These are the lower railings. Um, and railed with beautiful grille of bronze tracery. The balcony rail, as well as the surrounding rail, which encloses the house at the pavement, is of partially classical design, each motif being enclosed in an oval line, as with the common Greek palmetto ornament. These rails are bronze of sterling material and of the finish usually lavish on statuary. The rail at the pavement is spaced between square stone pedestals in the same material as the building, on which seen in high relief of figures of birds, squirrels, etc., hiding in the acanthus scrolls which play over the surface. These sculptural touch will be found very bold and free, as well as these low pedestals, as the various friezes which define the stories and which range in design from geometric accuracy to forcible realism in the oak leaf trellis of the Roman scrollwork. Every particle of work seen on the exterior is, in fact, at once conscious to decide. Eyes are getting tired. And the constructive execution promises to resist weather and climate as long as the technical perfection can ensure such resistance. So between the brilliant bronze railings and their pedestals, and there's the railings. These are the bottom railings. Let's see. External bronze railings were cast by Bureau Brothers and Heaton of Philadelphia. So that is a famous foundry in Philadelphia, which they're closed now, and they I looked into them a little bit and was a little they had, some interesting history there. You can see those portholes right there. There's the railings that we're trying to find a buyer for right there. Oh, this is interesting. We'll look at this. Let me okay, wait a minute. Oh, I gotta figure out how to okay, dokie, rotate right. Okie dokie. And then make it bigger. This cross section of the house I thought y'all find interesting. There's the railings on the bottom right there. The ones on the top you can't really see, but you can see the basement. You can see the basement area here. I would be willing to bet that there is a sub basement to this house that is not talked about. Let me go in even closer. Oh, it probably was too much, but um, anyways, you can get an idea for the cross section there. Kind of cool. That must be some of the art. Okay, so let me rotate. I want to rotate. I want to rotate once. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Oh, the basement and to their neighbor, the cellarage. Okay. The flowery bronze work which fences in this balcony. And there's a picture of the actual railings that we're trying to find a buyer for right here. Aren't they amazing? Railing of the upper balcony from the design by C.H. David. So, there's documentation here that these things are off the Vanderbilt mansion. I just think it's cool. I think it's like would be totally pimped to be able to say I got a piece of Vanderbilt. You know, I think it would be cool, but I mean, maybe I don't know what I think is cool, what you think is cool. Two different things. On Griffin supports, there are tables set against the walls of yellow marble and Galdo Antico on Griffin support, suggesting the often imitated table in the house of Rufus in Pompeii. So there's your Tartarian griffins. So, okay, there's a lot of drawings and stuff. That's pretty cool. I think they used a what's it called, a camera lucida to draw these. They were talking about in the book when I was reading it, they were talking about how they were allowed in to make sketches of the interiors. And I don't think you could make this sketch without a camera lucida. I don't think you could just sit there and draw that very quickly because there's so many of these pictures, and I know they didn't let them spend a shit ton of time there. This is awesome. Whatever this thing is, I don't even know. That's crazy looking. But I'll put this stuff in uh the Beagle file, and you can go and look at it. You have to cook your head because it's a pain in the butt just to rotate it. I'll rotate it if it's really, really good, but check out that chair. I could sit my butt in that chair right there. Be king of my castle. Do. So this is a little something different tonight, y'all. I just started looking at this, and I just it's just one piece. It's not. It's I don't know. It's just a glimpse into the past, and I don't know. It's something different. There's only so many damn Mudflood windows I can look at. That's looking up. See, I don't think there's any way you could draw that. You could over time you could draw that. I think to do it quickly, to do it accurately, I think you'd have to have a camera lucida. And what that is it allows you to. It's like a tiny prism that you look through this device, and it projects um it projects what's in front of you onto a piece of paper, and then you can trace that very quickly. And it's a way that it's an old art technique. It was kind of an esoteric way of doing things. And it was a way of getting basic, instead of having somebody sit there for hours after hours for you to paint them. What they would do is they would take this camera lucida and they would um, sketch this very quickly, and then you could leave, and then they would paint over those lines, if that makes any sense. Check that out. Hey, haha, is that a green man right there? Are you still here? I see you hanging out here. We'll make it bigger so we can get a confirmation. Oh boy, I think I did that too much. Oh boy, wait a minute. That's too much. Okay. Haha, is that a green man? Right there? I'm voting green man. I don't know. Haha is like he's on point with the is it a green man? Is it not a green man? And check this out. Adirondines. These are probably original old world tech Adirondines. These are probably old world tech right here that you're looking at. That whole bit right there. So that's something interesting. And you get a little look at you'll see a lot of artwork in these. I'm blasting through them because it's late. Had a long day. That's cool. We need to rub that. Get it. You saying it's not a green man? Well, if he thinks it's not a green man, it's not a green man. Oh wow! Look at that. That's pretty. Drawing room. Must be some artwork on the walls. Do. You saw Al Pacino's The Devil, and that's what it looks like. Al Pacino's The Devil. Wait, what was that movie called? That where Al Pacino played the devil. It wasn't called The Devil. I forget what that movie was called. That was a good movie. I hadn't seen that in a long time. Al Pacino, when Al Pacino was on, he was on there. There's a flat earth asterisk right there. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty. They're just showing all the decorations in this house. I mean, it's not my style. I don't like. I don't really think that. I would think it was gaudy to me, but it's not my style. But you know, teach their own. Everybody's got their own style of what they like. Of course, I don't have any style now. I don't care about that shit anymore. But if I was to choose, I wouldn't choose this stuff. That's pretty cool. Almost like a picture, but it's not. That's pretty well. Oh, that's cool. Oh, look at that. One of the silver lamp bearing statues. So they had lamps on here somehow. Oh, wow. Oh, that's that. Yeah, that's what we're just looking at right there. It's like the real deal, but I think that's a picture. I think it's a drawing. Still cool. I don't know. Hard to tell. Oh, that's cool. what this stuff is. Stuff just lying around or something. It's cool. Oh, that's neat right there. What in the world is that thing? Clock and Japanese taste. Okay, that's a clock. All right. I don't know what that is either. Looks like a tapestry, maybe. That's pretty wild. Huh. Weird stuff. Like I said, I'll put the link. I'll put this in so you can look at it yourself. It'll be in the Beagle files. When I get it uploaded, you can go and look at it yourself and take. Wow, that's cool. That's crazy. Some wacko stuff in here. I don't know. That's wild. Look at that. Man. That's pretty cool right there. I mean, to me, it's gaudy. I mean, you could tell it's very expensive stuff, but to me, it's gaudy. I don't know what the hell that thing is. It's like a Phoenician fish there. Oh, what the hell that is? No idea. Wow. There's some old tech. Adirondines. Oh, that's amazing. That's odd. Oh, that's pretty. Okay. Getting down to the end of this one. There are. That's weird. Huh. Okay. I think we'll stop there. There are three more of those books. They're all in PDF form. I'll post all of them in there. I was going to go through and show you them all, but I'm waning in energy, so I don't want to keep going with it. It's all just more artwork. They get into the paintings and the stuff like that. But I think the first book was the most interesting to me. It had the most information in it. But, anyways, these railings are amazing, and I hope that somebody seriously, I hope that somebody will purchase these and save them for historical, uh, preservation. But it's a lot of money, so it ain't gonna be me. It'd take a little. I'd have to, it'd take me quite a long time to save up that much. And I have nowhere. I literally have nowhere I could put those. Um, so I'm. It's not going to be me. But anyways, I hope that hope you enjoyed that. Earlier, um, Secret Reluctant Jesus, I don't know if you're still with us, was asking about my thoughts on UFOs. And this is a question he asked about last show, I believe. And I guess I'll give you a quick roundabout my 2 cents on that, um, as best I can. I'm getting really tired, but the there's 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 several things going on when it comes to UFOs. And this is my perspective now. You've got the third dimensional stuff going on, and then you've got the interdimensional stuff going on. The third dimensional stuff is a lot of these UFO sightings that we see. In the 90s, I had an actual experience where I actually saw a UFO very up, very, very close. Um, and I've never shared what I saw with anyone um, for several reasons. Number one, I didn't want to taint what others thought about it. I didn't want to like them to set me to tell the story of what it looked like, and then later on, somehow it comes back. Yeah, I saw a UFO, and it looked, and it then they tell me exactly what I saw. I've never told anyone ever what it looked like. And the reason I do that is because I want it to be very authentic, and I want to know for sure that this person saw what I saw. That's my way of verifying that they saw it. I've never seen a. I've seen one, uh, like animation kind of that was made for a TV show or something that looked similar. It was round, I'll tell you that. It was about 30 feet round, and it was about it was right. It was imagine a cloud, a thick cloud, and right above the cloud and shining through, and you could see the shape clearly of the not because you could see the outer shape, but because of the lighting. At the time, I was not awake. Okay. So I wasn't aware, of this stuff. Didn't understand this stuff. When I saw it, I didn't tell anybody for a long time that I saw what I saw. I saw it in Texas. I was driving through Texas, by the way. I don't know where in Texas. I was in the middle of Texas, coming back from Los Angeles, and um, after I woke up, I remembered that experience. So, which was interesting because it kind of helped me wake up, because it was like I started hearing about aliens and UFOs and all that stuff when I woke up, and it was like, well, damn, I've seen that, but through years of awakening, I quickly realized through study that what I saw was probably not a third dimensional reality, uh, like an outer UFO from outer space, little green men. What I probably saw was government technology that was being used. I don't think that what I saw was extraterrestrial. Then so basically, when it comes to that sort of thing, I'm really not on board with the little green men stuff. I'm not on like the grays. I'm not really on board with the gray thing anymore. But interdimensional aliens, um, which I don't think they're aliens as we consider aliens. I look at more like uh, different, forms of humanity, that they're a different, from a different universe or different dimension. They're from different places. Um, I think there's interdimensionals uh, coming in and out, and also interacting with us. Um, I think the work of Billy Myers is very interesting. Um, I think the work of George Green is very interesting. Um, Behold a Pale Horse, um, I think is interesting. Um, I also am very interested in the Anunnaki, um, Sumerian text, Zechariah Ascension. I read all those books multiple times, um, and I have a lot of thoughts there, but that's a lot deeper conversation. Um, I think it's I think we have been here on this planet for hundreds of thousands of years. I think our history is just totally bunk. Absolutely, just we have been absolutely lied to. Um, I don't think I it's they're uncovering more and more all the time, and I think at some point we're gonna realize that um, humanity is much older than we've been told. I think it's quite possible, as the Sumerian text talk about, that we could have been genetically modified as the story went. I see that as a very large possibility, and it's very possible that there could have been interdimensional travel that was coming here to mine gold. Um, if you look into it, you'll find that they are finding these gold mines in Africa, um, where this gold was being harvested. We have the traditions around the world of large gold, like in the um, the Aztecs and the Mayans, and how much gold that they had in those regions, South America, where the Spanish come in, and they, these countries, these civilizations have mass amounts of gold. I think that this is all connected, um, but I also think it's very ancient. I think it's much older than we're told. Um, I also um, think that we are being helped at this point in humanity, um, by a group called the Pleiadians. Um, One of the things that really triggered my awakening was reading a Pleiadian channeling, um, and it just changed my life. I mean, I quit everything that wasn't working in my life. I threw it out: drinking, smoking, drugs, uh, just anything that wasn't making me better, wasn't helping me consciously evolve, I threw it out. Chasing women, fast cars, I threw it all out. Uh, Working for a living, it's work. That's all I thought about. Work. Make money. Go to work. Make money. Go to work. Make money. Go to work. Seven sisters. Yes, absolutely. Seven sisters. Look at the Mayans and how they were able to see the Pleiades star systems, and they didn't have a telescope, and we didn't even know about the seven sisters, the Pleiades star systems, other than the seven sisters. We didn't know about the rest of it until recently, but the Mayans knew about it. But I think I'm not trying to talk you into understanding or believing this. I'm just saying that this came into my life when it needed to come into my life, and it completely 180'd me and flipped me upside down. And it took a person that was asleep and woke them up. And I was, from the time I started awakening until the time I was fully awake, like, I had a lot more knowledge to learn, but the actual, where you go from being unconscious to being conscious, it was actually very quick. And that started, that awakening process started when I read these channelings. And if you ever want to read them, they're still available. You can get them for free. Just search Handbook for the New Paradigm, and you can hear audio versions, male or female voice. You can also get the books for free. But those books, it's the four books. There's actually, normally you'll see three books, but there's actually four books. And those books, they changed my life. They made me who I am today. And they're little tiny books. They're not very big books, but they really made a difference in my life. Now, if it turns out that the Pleiadians are not real, it doesn't even matter to me, because just by reading these channelings, it changed my life. It made me a better person. I used to drink every day. I used to chase women like it was a sport. I used to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes, and that's if I wasn't drinking heavily on a weekend. And then I would smoke 3 packs of cigarettes. I partied. If there were, in my later years of about 10 years prior, or 8 years prior to waking up, I had cut back like 90% of drug use. But in the 90s, I was, dabbling all kinds of things, acid and ecstasy and weed and coke and, uh, opium. And, I tried a bunch of different things. But I've surpassed all that. I haven't had a drink since 2008. I haven't had a cigarette since 2008. I mean, I haven't had any drugs since before that. But am I a perfect person? Hell no. I've fixed a lot of things, but there's a lot that's left to be fixed. I'll never be a perfect person. There's no damn way I can ever be a perfect person. I might have been, shat out of the womb perfect, but I certainly became imperfect. I'm striving for perfect imperfection. I don't know what that's gonna, look like on the other end. I'm 50 years old now, and well, soon, it won't be too much longer. It'll be 51, but you know, I'm, you know, I'm sure, I'll be gray hairing up, and I'll be, age is catching up with me. I don't, but I will say that I'm so much healthier today than I was then. I have had some medical problems, and I'm getting much better. I'm very, very close to getting my medical shit worked out, because I've been saving and working hard to do that. So I actually have, I'm starting to set up appointments to get myself helped out, and so I'm working through it. But now I'm doing YouTube. Um, I'm trying to. This isn't. I don't get to spend nearly as much time as I used to on it, because I'm working full time now, and it's, especially during the summer, has been very demanding. I'm working in full sun every day. There's very little shade to be found, and it's I'm building structures that are quite literally in the middle of, no shade. So I'm building the shade. But I'm thankful for the work. Um, I needed the work. Because there was 2 years that I really, I started, I was very sick, and there was 2 years, and that I got very little work, because I couldn't, there were days I couldn't even get out of bed. People knew that, my customers knew I was sick, and they didn't want to hire me, because they knew for two reasons. Number one, they knew I couldn't work very well, which was true, even though I'd say, no, no, I'm fine. I can do it. Even though they knew I couldn't. I was that sick, and they were looking out for my being. Um, I had some good people that have been around me. I've had some bad people that have been around me, but I've had some really good people, some really caring people, and those people know who they are. And shout out to a lot of those people that are around me. There's also people here in the community that were instrumental in me getting through my ordeal. Shout out to Caleb Wilkinson. Um, he, he was there in some of the darkest hours, when I was just out of life. He was there, so I appreciate him. But now I've got some other, people kind of rotate through your life, and I've got some good people here and there. They're I see them, and they're I keep my circle very tight now. I don't let I've excommunicated all the shit tards in my life. Um, and I've just circled the wagons, and I've kept my circle very, very small, very, very small. Um, I don't I wanted to work with the community, but our community, I don't I our community is failing tremendously. Um, and it's gonna you're gonna see a lot of fighting coming, because there I people think it's just me. Y'all are sadly fucking mistaken. You're gonna find out very soon how bad um people are arguing behind the scenes. And there are some very bad elements in our midst, and you're gonna find out who they are, because they're gonna expose themselves, and it's just going to be the way it is. And so, you know, I'm interested to see where the community goes, but as for me, I've backed off the community. I'm absolutely fed up. I'm not doing interviews. I'm not uh, giving interviews. I'm not I'm not making new connections. I'm not bringing anybody in the fold. I'm not trying to help anybody. I'm not trying to shout out anybody. I'm not doing any of that shit. I'm not trying to grow my channel. I'm not trying to do anything but a little of what I can do here, and how it grows, it grows. If it doesn't grow, I don't give a damn. I do not care if this grows anymore. I'm out of give a fuck to see this grow. It's too it's too much. It's just you guys don't understand. It's not the research. The research I enjoy, the making the videos I enjoy, the but it's the shit fuck tard heads behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. It's the people fighting. It's the people. You cannot have a conversation with anybody without it getting into insanity, absolute insanity, where people just cannot. As soon as you disagree with somebody, the the panties start flying, and it's just stupid. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. And it's not what I got involved with this for. And I'm gonna either work this out, or I'm gonna be honest with I'm going to leave this channel and just drop it. I don't know. I don't know. If I do leave, I'll either just leave it as it is, or I'll delete the whole channel. I haven't decided if that's which I would do there. It could be either. I'm And if I did that, I would go anonymous. I would still do my work, and that honestly, that's something that the opposition does not want me to do. If I go dark and I go anonymous, you're fucked, because then I'm gonna have the ability to fuck with you 3 ways from Sunday. You're not gonna know which direction I'm coming from. You're not gonna have a clue who I am. You're not gonna know if I'm your friend or foe. You're not gonna have any idea. I might be multiple people. You won't have a damn clue what I'm. You you won't know. You want me right where I am. That's where you want me. You want me where you can see me. But if I go dark, it's over. You're done. Because then it's going to be. Then I can put on a mask, and you won't see. You won't see me coming. You won't know if I'm your enemy or your best friend. You won't know which. You won't have a clue by the time I'm done with you. I might be both. You don't know. So it's best I stay right where I am. But that's I'll just keep going best I can. And if I feel like I need to walk away, I will. Honestly, y'all, you just don't have any idea how much the drama has the toll it's taken on me. Like you just don't even know. It is just, and it's just been one thing after another. It started with one set of shit fucks, and then went to another set of shit fucks, and then this shit fuck got together with that shit fuck, and they created a shit fuck baby, and then they you know had an incest shit fuck baby, and that multiplied into fucking gremlins. I mean, I'm fighting gremlins here, y'all. It's ridiculous, and it's constant. It's just like, and you cannot argue with these people because they're so stupid. They can't get out of their own way to see. It's like fighting a leftist. That they're it's like trying to take a pumpkin latte out of a leftist hand. It's insanity. It's crazy. So, anyways, I appreciate everyone that's watching. I don't know how many people are watching. I don't know, 22 right now. I don't know, but I appreciate your time. Um, and I will continue to try to do what I can here. Um, and I just really appreciate everybody, you know, hanging out and look, we're trying to find some answers to some questions we have, and the powers that be are trying to fight us on this. They don't want us to think. They do not want us to question the historical narrative. And they're mad. They're really really mad, and they're attacking. They're they're demonic. They have dark entities that are controlling them. They probably don't even know it themselves, and they are attacking. It's not just me. There's a lot of people being attacked right now. Matter of fact, I bet you if you got into it, matter of fact, I can almost tell you that every creator that I know of is getting attacked right now in some way, shape, or form. Every one of them in different ways. I'm not. It's not just me that's getting, this demonic attack. It's it's all of us. We are hitting a button. We're pushing buttons that are not, people are not pleased about at the top. We don't even, I don't even think we know what we're hitting on. I don't even think we know. I think we're grazing up against something that is much bigger than we're even talking about now. I think we're just on the precipice of finding something. Is Tartaria even important anymore? I don't even think it is. I think the Tartaria is just really, to me, is really unimportant. I don't care about Tartaria. It's there. The documentation keeps coming. They keep finding new maps, new you know uh, information in books. Um, but I don't find it. To me, it's not. At least to what I'm doing, I don't find it important. I'm trying to figure out why all the buildings, all the old buildings around the world are sitting in mud, dirt. Why are they covered up? Why do we keep finding things underground? Why are we finding basements and sub basements that nobody knew about? Why are we finding, things that are down there that shouldn't be there, that nobody knew about, that aren't in the historical records? Why do we have this wackadoodle construction method of putting doors and windows below ground level, and number one, nobody knew were there. And then when you say, oh, look, doors and windows below ground level, they go, oh, yeah, that's how they used to build. No big deal. Nothing to see here. Move along. Move along. I'm like, wait a minute. I think I'm going to stop and take a picture. I think I'm going to take some notes. I think I'm going to think about this a little more. You could take the tour on down the road, take your official narrative, and just mosey on down the road. I don't know if time was changed. I don't know if time was added or subtracted. I just know that something is not right. And it seems to focus around 1800, 1850. That area seems like there is some change. And then around 1943, there seems to be 42, 43, there seems to be another strange anomaly to what's going on. And I think that I've always, for ever since I woke up, I have believed that we are in a hologram that is projected in the mind of God. in the mind of the creator. So, you can say what you want to about simulation theory, but I think in the end, we are going to find that is what we're dealing with. That I'm not saying this isn't real. What is reality? If I punch you in the face, is that real? You're going to go, yeah, that shit's real. Okay, well, in the mind of God is punching you in the face and wants you to feel that reality. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying you don't feel it. I'm not saying you don't smell it or taste it or hear it. God can do all this. God can do anything. We're so limited in our perspective of what God is. We're pathetic. It's probably all a simulation. I'm not talking about Matrix style simulation. I'm not talking about servers and racks and hardware and software. I'm talking about the ultimate mind, the mind of the creator of the universe, thinking and then thinking us up, and then we are thinking and creating within this construct of the mind of God, creating, exploring. We're exploring. We're part of God, exploring what God is, experiencing what God is, what God could be. What God can experience everything all at once. He can experience what it's like to be Biggs or Jason Marshall or Hippie Shake or In the Ancient Now or Ha Ha, Lord knows, a Maggot. I mean, he experienced being all this at one time. There's 1,000 different experiences each one of us has, and God's having all those experiences all at once through all these lifetimes. It's God playing. We're just part of God playing in the universe that God created. Or you can believe, okay, if you want, that there's a man up in the sky and he lives on a cloud and he has these rules and you must abide by them. Or he's going to cast you down to this place with fire and brimstone where you're going to suffer for eternity. But he loves you. He loves you.
Woof again! Say woof again!
I've got one that can see.
It's a mystery! It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma! Don't you get it?
Welcome to the underground.
This is my kung fu, and it is strong.
See you later.